This is Artisan Loom here. I'm going to bring you a tutorial because I was requested a tutorial by Hooked on Looming of how I attach beads and charms, well, my charms to the bracelets. Okay, so what you're going to need is, what I ended up buying was fishing line, which is a lot thinner. See how thin that is? But that's what I had purchased. So sometimes I use fishing line. And then other times I just use the bead and stretch because it's a thicker, but it stretches pretty good. So those are the two things that I normally use. And you've got to pick out a bead that you're going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and put a charm on this one. This is the Spidey bracelet by MS Looms, I do believe. And I'm going to try to attach this one. So if you look at the end, you'll see that there's 4 holes. Sometimes, like for a button, there's only 1. Sometimes there's just 2. This one happens to have 4. So for this one, I'm going to use the bead and stretch. I'm just going to pick out a couple lengths. I don't know, just however you think. And then cut it in half, either with scissors or with these tools. And I'm going to cut another piece off because I'm going to, since it's got 4 holes, I'm going to put it in through 2 each, okay? So I'll set this one aside and I'll grab this. And what I want to do is I want to go from this hole. You string it through both of these holes on this side. Okay, just like that. Now you could, and let's just try, sometimes these get in the way when I string all 4 or both of them, excuse me, but we'll just do it. We'll string one through this side as well. See how they get in the way? Okay, and there you go. You've got all 4. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of my bracelet, which is going to be right there, and I'm going to hold down where I think I want it to be placed, and that looks like a good placement. Okay, and I'm going to take my hook. So I want to keep these separated from those. All I'm trying to do is get this side of this thread. So what I'm going to do is take my hook, I'm going to come in through the back of the bracelet, and you see where that little hole is? I'm going to come in somewhere near that. Just poke up till you see it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to maneuver my hook to get that clear band, and I'm going to pull it through to the other side. Now sometimes it gets hooked on some other bands. You just kind of have to mess with it till you get it the right way. Now as you're pulling it through, make sure you're not pulling this side as well. Okay, so there we go. One side's on this side, one side's on this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up through this side, trying to maneuver my hands so that I can show you. You see where the hole is there? I'm going to come up very close to that. Also grab that clear line and pull it through. Okay, so I may as well go ahead and tie this off since we won't get them all confused. These 2 are on this side. Okay, what I do is I just tie it off. Okay, now it's not going to be super tight. It wants to come untied as I'm tightening, see? But once you do it, just hold it tight in place, pull it through, tie it off again, and once you do that, you can pull real good, and then it'll tighten it all the way down because it's got some stretch to it. I'm going to tie it one more time. Okay, now I have that, and I can use my scissors or this tool and just cut it, not all the way down. You want to leave some of it on. Okay, so I did that. Now this part's on. Okay, but this part is still hanging there. So what we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure this is straight and then hold it in place. I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to come up through just somewhere near the hole. Pull that one side of the beading or the thread through. Now it's on that side. And then I'm going to come up. See where that one is? I'm going to come up through here. Grab the other side. Well, if I can get it. Up under the hook. And pull it through to the other side. And like I said, sometimes a little band gets hooked. You can just kind of, you can see where it's, you can just pull it through. Okay. Now what you're going to do is both of these are on this side. You're going to do the same thing. You're just going to tie it. Hold it tight. Tie it again. And because this beading is so, it's round and kind of thick, and then pull real good. That'll tie it down real nice and tight. And then tie it one more time. Okay, the reason I use, I like this bead and stretch is because it won't slice my bands. Now this fishing line is awfully thin and it doesn't have any stretch to it at all. And so therefore, when you go to tie it, it could slice your bands. So you got to be real careful about that. But basically, there we are. It's on real tight on both sides. See? Trying to lift up on it. It's tight real good on that side. And that's how I attach the beads. I actually like that bead on there. Okay. So that's how you do that one, and it's clear so you don't really see it. I guess this one would be the same way. I guess what I should do is show you what a button looks like, because we just did this one that's a 4. I was going to put it on, but I'm thinking I'm going to go off camera and come back with a different. Actually, I don't even need to come off camera. Look at here. I've got this plastic button. It's kind of cool looking though, with a little rhinestone, and it's just a button. You see that? Okay. I'm also going to use the bead and stretch for this one. Okay. Wow, that would be my kid. That's great. And I'm going to cut off a strand of it, you know, however much you think that you want to work with. There's no real amount that you need. Basically, I'm going to take it and I'm going to thread it through the button just like that. There's only one hole. Okay, then I'm going to find the center of the bracelet, which I'm going to call right there. Okay, and then hold it down where you think you want it to be. So I kind of want to line it up exactly right. Okay, so what we're going to do, since there's only one hole, I'm just going to hold it down. The concept is the same. Sorry, you're going to come up through the back of the bracelet somewhere where that hole is, and I'm going to try real hard to get close by there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the one side of the clear band and pull it through. Okay, I'm going to pull it through. Okay. Let's see what we did here. Okay, so we pulled it through. Now we need to get the other side. You know what? Nope. Huh. I thought something was a little off. Okay, let's try this again. You're going to thread it. And I'm going to have it to where the hole is going straight like this. Find the center of your bracelet. Find the exact spot you want to put it. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. I ended up pulling the other side of this out, and so there was nothing on the button. Okay, so basically what you're going to want to do after lining it up, you're going to come up to the other side of the bracelet. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to grab the clear band and start trying to pull it through. Being careful, I do not, while holding the bead, I don't want this side to go through, see? So I've got one side on. I'm going to pull this front side, okay? Still holding it in place. Now we are ready to do this side. Okay, there's the hole of the button. I'm going to come in through the other side of this button, and I'm going to grab the clear band and I'm going to put it on my hook and pull it through. Just making sure you don't pull the other half of this through. Does that make sense? Now both of them are on this side. Okay. Now they're both on this side. And what you always have to make sure is that you have a band in between. Sometimes when you pull them both through, there's not a band in between. You got to always make sure. This one happens to be a band through it. You see, this band is, or this side of the threading and this side, there's a band in the center of it right here. That's how you want it. So just say, okay, let me just try to pull this back over. Just say when you pulled it through, both of them through, they came in the same spot, okay, side by side. You have to make sure that one half of the thread is on one side in between some bands. So what I normally do is I'll go through 2 or 3 bands, or sometimes even one. I'll go through these two like that, and I will grab, it doesn't matter which side, I will grab one of the clear threads, okay, and I will pull it just underneath, okay? So now you've got the one band on one side, and then there's these 2 bands in between. See how they're in between these 2 threads? Okay, so now at this point you can tie them off. Because if you didn't tie them off when they both were together and no bands in between, it wouldn't tie off. Okay, so now that we've got that like that, now we're going to do the same thing as we did before. Just tie it, get it nice and tight, and then tie it again, and then I pull really good and tight. Only with the beading. I don't do that so much with the, you got to be careful how tight you can pull it with the fishing line, because it'll cut right through your bands. And then I'm going to pull it again one more time. Okay, pull it real tight, and then I'm ready to cut the end off, but I'm going to leave a little bit on. You see how I've left a little bit on? Left a little bit on. Okay, now you can look, and there you are. It's attached, and it's attached really good. It's attached really good to the front. I actually like that bead on there too. A little bit too much black, but you get the gist. And that's how you attach the beads. So super simple. You just make sure you have the right, whether it be fishing line, or I tend to think that the fishing line works well with some, but majority of the time I do like the bead and stretch, just because I can get it nice and tight on there. So it's totally up to you, whatever you like to work with. Just make sure when you tighten the fishing line that you don't tighten it too terribly tight. You got to be real careful not to slice the bands. So after that repetitiveness, that is the tutorial for how to add charms. So, well, I probably should also get a few of my, let me go off camera and grab a couple of my charms so I can also show you that you can add charms as well as pendants, as well as keychains, like the things from the keychains. I will show you. I'll be right back. Okay, so I got a few different charms just to show you. This is a charm and it's got a little hole there to be able to attach it to a bracelet. Now I will say that on these I really don't like that hole to where it attaches. I like it just being just like that. So a lot of times I will take my tool and I will get to the very edge and I will cut it off on both sides and smooth it down just a little bit, as good as I can get it. That way it looks like this, just like that. And then basically what you do is you can add, even without this little hole, as long as you have a spot where there are holes, and this one does have holes, you can take it and come up through the back. Oops. I'm just giving you an example. Come up through one side, and you can attach it like we did on this side, and then do the same on the other side, and then attach it to the bracelet. And because you can't really see the bead and stretch, because and especially when you use the fishing line, because it's so much thinner and you can't really see that you've done it that way. See? So you can't really tell it's there. That's what's cool about it. So a lot of times I will cut that part off. And the same with this. This is just off of a necklace, so you can rip things off of a necklace. And what I will probably end up doing is cutting this piece off to where it's just that charm when I decide to go use it. And then I will probably use, like I said, anywhere that you've got holes, and this thing has got holes all over it. So you could just come in through one side and do the other, or you can do all four sides, that, and then the top and that. That's probably will be good enough. And the same with this. So you can, I probably would take this off because I don't like the look of it. I like that much better, so I'll cut that off. And then I will do the same thing. I will attach it from the side, both sides, or let's see, I don't know if you can attach it this way or not. Sometimes when there's not little holes, sometimes you can find little grooves that you can stick it in as well, just kind of like that. And see, you can't really see it that much. But if you, especially with the fishing line, but if you didn't have all these holes and it was one solid piece, you could attach it that way. And then also if there was a small hole, you could come up through this side. I'm trying to get a piece of this. Or either go down or come up right there. And then you could attach it there. Attach it from here and attach it from the top. Then it'll remain stable, or side to side. So that's another option that you could use. Same with this. It's got two holes, so it probably was meant to be an 8. So I probably would attach it top to top, or you could just go do one right across the center if you chose to do it that way. You could do it like this, and then you still don't really see it. But that's an option. But this particular one has holes all through it, so I probably would go into where you won't actually see any of it, and just attach it that way, so none of it will be on the top. So that's another option. Same with this. Probably take that part off, but you can find an area like, well, that's not a hole. I was going to say that's a hole, but that's not a hole. It doesn't go all the way through. So you just kind of got to find a good spot, which one way you could do it, say this part was gone, you could do it this way. Oops. On one side, and then take it and just go to the nearest one. I would do catty-cornered, so I just pull it up through here. But anywhere there's, and then you can attach it that way. But anywhere there's a lip, so if all you had was a little lip, you could, you know, just find a spot where there's a lip on it, and you could attach it, you know, like that. Just wherever you can find. So, I mean, first I thought I was limited on what beads I could use, but quickly found out that there's different ways to attach. So, then I also have brooches. These are also nice because they've already got the pin attached. So you would just open them. Okay, so you have to be careful when you attach because you don't want this to slice the band. Okay, so I'm just going to do an example. You find a good spot, just make sure, and it goes in very smoothly. It's not going through any bands. So you would find the spot, pull it through the other side, okay? And then you would take this side, let's see here. What I'm going to do is I put it through to this side, and then I'm going to kind of bend here. But I'm going to be real careful that I'm not going through bands. You see how I came up and I'm not going through any bands? So then I can reattach it. And you'll have to play around with it to get it to be exactly where you are. And then you have your brooch that's attached. See? Didn't want to come up, so it's good. It's on there really good and tight. And then that can be on your bracelet. It's very simple. You just, only thing you got to remember with these is just not to slice your band. Okay? And that's pretty simple, but a lot of times I will go through and I will find a necklace and I will cut the charm off of a necklace, save the chain because I like to chain all of Nyx Haley 22's designs, and hopefully I'll be chaining some of mine as well, but I do love the way that the chaining looks. But a lot of times I will just cut it right off, or you can do this too. I forgot. I've got a keychain here. This is a good example. I just bought it. So you could cut and this is overly big, but you know, depending on how big or small your keychain thing is, I would take that whole loop off to where it was just, I would cut it off to where it's just that, okay, just the Eiffel Tower. And once I did that, then all you would have to do is find a spot to attach it. And the best place that I see is probably, well, if I take this little hole off, then there won't be anywhere to attach it up top. So what I'll do is I'll just go through and find the lip. Okay, I'll just get as close as I can. You see that? I'll just put it as close to that lip underneath those 3 rhinestones as I can, just right there. And then you can't really see it. And I'll attach it here. And then I will also, I don't know if I would attach it at the legs. You could attach it at the legs, or you could just attach it on either side here, however you wanted to do it. But that just goes to show you, you can look for any kind of jewelry, go into your local thrift stores, you know, Goodwills, consignment shops, anywhere where they have costume jewelry, estate sales, yard sales, and look for costume jewelry, anything like that, because you'll find some unique pieces that you won't find anywhere else. So it's pretty cool. So anyhow, those are just a few different things, but basically anything that has either a lip on it or a hole or whatever you can attach. You know, there are some things that you can attach because like they might just be round, but there's no holes anywhere on it. You would have to glue on the back, what do you call it, one of these to make it into a brooch. There's a thing you can buy at the craft stores that you can glue on and make it into a brooch to be able to attach it, but you know, that's going out of your way a bit. So but just about anything you can attach to a bracelet. So anyhow, that is the tutorial for how to attach pendants, beads, charms, and the tools to use. So hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully you'll find it easier to attach, and just try to make it as inconspicuous as possible. And yeah, so enjoy, and maybe I will do another tutorial for some more chaining and the types of chains that you can use in the types of bracelets. So okay, well, enjoy, and until the next tutorial, take care now. Bye.